Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the blueprint for building generative AI solutions right on AWS. We're going to give you the map you need to navigate this incredibly powerful landscape.
Okay, let's just dive right in. We'll kick things off with Amazon Bedrock. That's kind of our central hub. From there, we'll explore what's actually inside it, see how it connects to other AWS services, and then look at 3 really common architectural blueprints. And to finish up, we'll tackle a super important question. When do you use Bedrock, and when do you use SageMaker?
So our journey really begins with trying to make sense of, what can feel like a totally overwhelming number of AI services out there. We've got to find the right place to start, our central station, if you will. And it's a super common question, right? You look at all the tools available, and it can feel so complex. It's kind of like staring at a subway map for a huge city for the very first time. But don't worry, there's a clear answer. There's a main hub that's designed to simplify all of this.
And that hub is Amazon Bedrock. I want you to think of it just like the main train station in this big city of AWS Gen AI. It's that one central place you go to get on any train line, to access all the powerful models you need to take your application wherever it needs to go. And this quote, it just nails the why behind what we're doing today. The whole point is to get so comfortable with these building blocks that making those complex decisions, which service to use and when, starts to feel totally natural. Second nature, even. Okay, so let's actually step inside this central hub. What's in the box? What kind of powerful tools and models does Bedrock really give us access to? So first up, we've got the foundation models, or FMs as you'll hear them called. What are they? Well, they're these massive pre-trained AI engines that you can tap into with a simple API call through Bedrock. These are the real workhorses, right? They're the ones doing the heavy lifting, like writing an email, generating a picture, or even spitting out a chunk of code. All right, next up, embedding models. Now, these are a really special and super important type of foundation model. Here's the key difference. They don't generate text. Instead, their whole job is to turn your words into a string of numbers, what's called a vector. And why is that a big deal? Because it's how a computer can finally understand context and how similar 2 pieces of text really are. This is, and I mean this, absolutely critical if you want to build any kind of smart search. Now, what I think is so cool here is the sheer variety. Look at this. Bedrock isn't just one model. It gives you access to all these state-of-the-art models from a bunch of different leading companies. And here's the best part. It's all through one single, consistent API. What does that mean for you? It means you can play around, experiment, even swap models in and out without having to completely rewrite your app every single time. That is a game changer. So Bedrock is obviously incredibly powerful, but here's the thing. It's not a lone wolf. It's not really meant to work all by itself. To build applications that are actually useful in the real world, you've got to connect it to this whole ecosystem of other services, the ones that handle things like data storage, search, and a whole lot more. Yeah, here's the most important point to get. If Bedrock is the brain, it can't just float in a jar, right? It needs long-term memory, it needs senses to interact with the world around it, and that's why, to build these real-world apps, you absolutely have to connect Bedrock to your data sources and other specialized AWS tools. And these are some of Bedrock's closest partners. These are the tools that give that brain its memory and senses. You've got Amazon S3, which is basically its giant library, your universal data lake. Then you have Aurora and OpenSearch. They provide those powerful vector databases we were just talking about. That's the brain's long-term memory recall system. Kendra, that's like a pre-built, super intelligent search service for all your knowledge bases. And finally, Amazon Q is the AI assistant that kind of helps bring all these different pieces together for you. Okay, so we know the key players on our map now. Let's start looking at some of the actual blueprints. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we see how all these different building blocks click together to create real, honest-to-goodness, valuable applications. First up, we've got a total classic, the chatbot over your documents. You'll also hear this called retrieval augmented generation, or just RAG for short. Now, this pattern is huge. It's how you take a general-purpose AI and make it an expert on your specific private data without going through the massive headache of retraining the whole model. It's a 2-step dance. First, it finds the relevant facts from your documents, and then it uses the AI's power to whip up a nice natural language answer based on those facts. All right, next blueprint, the code assistant. This one's a lifesaver for developers. The whole idea is to use these models to help you write, explain, and fix code way, way faster. It's about embedding the AI right into your workflow.
So imagine just writing a comment and having it spit out the code for you, or getting suggestions for optimizing a slow function, or just getting help with all that annoying boilerplate you have to write over and over again. It's a massive productivity boost. And for our third blueprint, let's talk about a summarization pipeline. This one is an absolute beast for automatically processing huge amounts of information. Just think about it. You could feed it a fire hose of research papers, dense legal documents, or even hours of customer call transcripts, and what you get back every single time is a concise, accurate summary. The time savings here are just incredible. Okay, before we wrap up our tour, we've got to talk about a really critical fork in the road. This is a question that comes up all the time in architecture meetings, and frankly, the answer can shape the entire direction of your project. And that question is this: when should you use the beautiful simplicity of Bedrock versus the deep, powerful customization you get with Amazon SageMaker? This is probably one of the most important choices you'll make. When is that simple API the right tool for the job? And when do you really need to roll up your sleeves with a full-blown machine learning platform? So here it is, the simplest way to think about it. This is your key takeaway. You use Bedrock when you want to use and combine existing world-class models through an easy API. You use SageMaker when you need to build, train, or seriously customize your own models from the ground up. It really just boils down to this: are you using a tool or are you building the tool? I love this analogy because it makes it so clear. Think about it. Is your job to be the conductor of a concert hall, leading all these world-class musicians, the AI models, to create something amazing? If so, that's Bedrock. Or is your job to be in the workshop, carefully building the instruments themselves, crafting that perfect violin from scratch? Well, that is SageMaker. So there you have it. We've toured the city, we've explored that central station, we've looked over the blueprints, the map is officially in your hands now. So the only question left is the fun one. What are you going to build first? Thanks for joining me on this explainer.